everybody, and welcome to another episode of Q's and Dailies. And this is going to be a quite special episode of Q's and Dailies because it is now the start of Black History Month, Black Heritage Month, and I'll be making some content in regards to it in order to celebrate. So if you guys haven't seen the last episode of Q's and Dailies, I had a lot of fun with that one because I did it on my favorite MCU film, Thor Ragnarok. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that episode out, please do and enjoy. And there'll probably be a link to it somewhere, like maybe at the end of the video or something. So stick around. And so I thought to myself, to continue this little trail of MCU films in Q's and Dailies, and at the same time help celebrate BHM, I thought, why not make an episode on the 2018 super talked about, super popular, super successful MCU film. Oh yes, I am talking, of course, about Black Panther. And now, I have to mention it, sadly. Last year we did lose the Black Panther himself, Chadwick Boseman. Now, Chadwick Boseman was just an incredible actor, you know, and I mean, with it being BHM and all, we can't go without mentioning his incredible portrayals of just these icons, such as Jackie Robinson in 42, and James Brown in Get On Up, just stellar performances. My goodness, so good. It goes without saying, Chadwick Boseman was just a great influence for this generation of black youth who inspired to act and make it in Hollywood. Like anything, there's always gonna be obstacles in life, you know, but hey, it's all possible. Remember that, people. We still miss you so much, King T'Challa. Rest in power. And now, guys, on to the music. Now, what I really enjoyed about the music that Ludwig composed for Black Panther was how he incorporated some traditional African elements. Now, two of them that come to mind that are very dominant throughout the film score would have to be the instrumentation and the rhythm. Now, many of Ludwig's pieces include traditional African drums, whose role is to really emphasize its setting and really make us feel as if we're in the continent of Africa. I really enjoyed just how the ensemble wasn't just one group of African drums, I mean, you know, that really big one that we see in all the freaking movies, but rather, it was a whole variety to really bring out the many different and beautiful sounds heard throughout Africa. The rhythms we hear being played are also a key characteristic for the African setting. Now, African drumming is very big on having like these complexities in their rhythms. Typically, sometimes, most commonly, you'll hear like different meters being emphasized on top of one another and all that stuff, you know? And if you listen really closely, you'll definitely hear quite a lot going on in the percussion section where they are just really just laying it down, man. I mean, this was really good. Like, I dug it so well. Dang. Way to go, Ludwig. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, by the way. Ludwig Göransson. You're awesome! And while we're on the subject of the African setting, I just wanted to share how great I thought it was that the film really tried to just accurately capture the role of music in Wakanda from a sociological perspective. So now, from a more Marvel lore type of perspective, Wakanda would technically be located within the sub-Saharan section of Africa, which actually makes up a pretty big portion of Africa overall. Now, most of the music in this section of Africa is really integrated with a lot of social ceremonies. That's also including a lot of their dances and their songs. So really, music in this society serves more of a functional role rather than it does an artistic one. Now, the one scene that really brings this whole concept to life is, of course, T'Challa's coronation ceremony. And we have that scene where he is about to be coronated at the waterfall. We see him come out, and we see like just so many of the tribes and whatnot up in the waterfall and stuff, dancing and singing, and there's also music involved there too. You know, I don't know if we could see the musicians or not, but point is, you see, in these societies, they consider music vital to them. So all in all, I just thought it was so good at how accurate. The movie makers really tried to capture the essence, the overall feeling of the continent of Africa in order to make us feel that we, the audience, were right there in Wakanda ourselves. I mean, what can I say? Wakanda Forever. Yes. And now, guys, we have the return of the leitmotif. Now, if you guys need a quick refresher, just remember that a leitmotif is basically a character theme. And the character with his own badass theme would have to be Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger. So you could hear Killmonger's leitmotif, his theme, in scenes such as the museum robbery or him approaching the throne as the new king. What really separates Killmonger's theme from the rest of the Wakandan music we hear in Black Panther is, of course, that hip-hop drum track. So as you remember, leitmotifs are supposed to represent our characters whenever they appear on screen, and I thought that this theme, Killmonger's theme, did just such a good job of that. So we have the drum track, which is in a hip-hop style, which actually originated from the African American communities here in the United States, which Killmonger himself is from, specifically the mean streets of Oakland, California. But even prior to hearing the drum track, we hear something else, like a much more different opening for his theme. The opening to his theme starts off with like this very haunting sound, which I thought represented his backstory and his upbringing, basically his like tough childhood, very well. So yeah, he was a kid growing up in the mean streets of Oakland, and then his father gets murdered by his own brother, the king of Wakanda, his uncle, the father of T'Challa, and he's pretty much left alone as a kid to fend for himself in these mean streets, you know, and that just really built his character up to the badass bad guy that we see in the film now. So all in all, like his theme, I thought it really spoke volumes for Killmonger. That haunting opening that represents like his upbringing, his tough childhood past, with this hip hop drum track that really just shows off just how bad of a bad guy he is. You know, I just thought so well represented, such a great theme for such a badass character. I enjoyed it. A great match for the King of Wakanda. So good. And hey, since we're on the topic of hip-hop, again, this film just had such a great array of hip-hop tracks by amazing artists. Now, like all of you, I think my personal favorite would have to be All the Stars by Kendrick Lamar. Great piece there. But if you also listen carefully, you'll hear that they also included, I love this, they included hip-hop from another part of the world, and it was just so good. So there's that scene where they're in Wakanda, and then they have to travel to Korea. So there's that little transition where we see that they're in Busan, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and you hear this little hip-hop song in Korean, and that song is none other by PSY featuring Snoop Dogg. And I just thought that the inclusion of that Korean hip-hop track was just such a good way to show and celebrate how hip-hop, originating from the African American communities in the city of New York, has now expanded worldwide, all over, where everybody just enjoys it now, and it's just great. With it being Black History Month, it's accomplishments like that in hip-hop going worldwide all around, and just also phenomenal actors such as Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan, and also just, I mean, this movie overall, all accomplishments that we are celebrating here today on this channel with you all. Thank you so much. Wakanda Forever. And yet again, guys, that concludes another episode of Q's and Dailies. Again, with it now being Black History Month, I just thought that this was a great, fun choice for us to start off Black History Month here on my channel. And throughout the month, I am planning to do a lot more Black History Month content. I'm working on that right now, so, you know, go ahead and just stick around. It's coming soon. Also, everybody, just want to mention, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. My Instagram name is here. Wherever I'm going to put that, I don't know. But yeah, go ahead, give me a follow. I'll follow you back. There's a lot of, mostly just me posting anything that's music or music-related type of stuff, you know, and all that stuff. So yeah, go for it. Check it out. And so now, guys, as usual, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something, you had fun, and of course, happy Black History Month to all of you guys out there. Hope you're celebrating it well. And until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video. So stay together and stay creative. Alright, guys. Wakanda Forever. Rest in power, King T'Challa. Later, guys.